Welcome to another episode here on Questing Onward. I'm Ashton.
And I'm Whitney.
Thanks for joining us on another episode here. Here, for those of you who don't know, we love to just overall talk about the different forms of communication, do deep dives into them, and then share some of our nerdy loves, and then overall just talk about snippets and moments from our life that have helped us or where we've learned or are learning from. So we really only have one announcement. It's the usual one,
which is to like, comment, and subscribe. We've been going through those comments. We've been getting a lot of good feedback recently about what people like, what they don't like, how they do things differently, and it's been really fun hearing from you guys. So thank you for the interaction.
Yeah, we appreciate it. It's been fun. Like I said, Whitney put it well, but it's been good times just to overall just see the engagement. So thank you guys. I appreciate it immensely. We appreciate the messages to us just to continue, like words of encouragement. It's awesome. So today's topic is a fun one. Overall, what we wanted to talk about is the idea of how much do you laugh with your spouse. So obviously for us, for those people who know us, we're pretty loud and we try to laugh at ourselves as much as possible. It's a big part of who we are. So Whit, why don't you kick us off about that idea of like laughing, its importance, and kind of how we implement, or I guess how we like facilitate it more effectively in our relationship.
Well, effective joking is very important in your life.
It is.
Here is a guidebook, a how-to of how to do that. So in our life, there's like a lot of things in our life that are obviously really boring.
Well, everyone has those, right?
Everyone has those. So, for example, in our life, we have two very cute wiener dogs. We have two dachshunds, and their names are Dax and Harley. And they have
One's
to go...
slightly better than the other.
We do love one more than the other, but we don't talk about that.
That's not true. You love one more than I love one. I love one more than you love one. They're both great, but...
They're fine. But we have our favorites. It's fine. We do that with our children as well. Just kidding. But no, we don't. But with the dogs, we have to take them out every night, and it's awful. And we're in the middle of winter right now. And Harley in specific has to, it takes her forever. She has got to walk around, walk at least a half mile. It takes 10, 20 minutes. It's the worst.
Solid 20.
So neither of us want to do that, obviously. And it's freezing cold. And so to make it more fun and also like pretty fair-ish, unless one of us is on a losing streak, which Ashton is right now, so it's not really fair for him, but that's fine.
Unfortunate loss again.
Yeah. But we'll do rock, paper, scissors with that. So
yeah. And I think like this is like one of the things we try to do, or the mundane tasks that like, I think the key to this is like the conversation beforehand, right? Like, because I can see if one of us just tried this now, and it's just like rock, paper, scissors, it'd be like, no, right? But the expectation was set, like we knew this was something that neither of us wanted to do, and it was a task that's relatively like vague on who's going to normally take care of it, right? Because we're usually both here. And so it was some way of like creating some form of like fun in it. And I'll say it's been years. We've done it since we had our first dog, Dax, like 7 years ago. And we still to this day like feel the fun and laughter and like the frustration. Like Whitney said, I lost again round 3 in a row. And it's fun. Like it's still fun. Like we laugh about it and joke about it. Like it obviously sucks. I don't look forward to ending this and letting the dogs out. It's like 20 degrees. But it makes it fun. So like overall, like trying to find, I guess, some laughter in the mundane tasks, make them fun.
Oh, yeah. And this is definitely something that we could argue about and could be a point of contention. And you can do this with anything.
Right.
This could be with making dinner. This could be with changing your kids' diapers, putting kids to bed. Just whatever that looks like for you, just make it fun. And we've done this with other things over the years as well. I'm like trying to think. Oh, one of the things that we also like to do is we will place bets on things. So a lot of times Ashton is like, oh, I can't find the ketchup in the fridge. I'm like, really? Did you look? He's like, of course I did. Like, all right, bet. If I walk over to the fridge right now, what are we betting on? And he usually there's a form of currency in our house that is
back scratches.
So sometimes we'll bet 30-minute back scratch, 15-minute back scratch. If it's a serious bet, we'll go.
It goes up to like, I think the highest I remember is like an hour plus, maybe even 2.
Wasn't it 3?
Oh, that sounds awesome. And I won it. I do know that.
I think we had to break that one into chunks.
We did.
It was awful.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was about, but
I won.
Ashton, I have learned, though, only places bets on things he knows he's going to win, which is an absolute ripoff, okay?
But yeah, I think just, again, finding more ways of like finding, joy in the little things and like I don't know, making it fun, right? And I think it brings on to the second thing we wanted to talk about was like overall, just don't take life too seriously. I think life ultimately is like meant to be lived. It's meant to be enjoyed. One of my favorite quotes I actually heard recently when I was at Tony Robbins. I think I've shared this with you, but it's the quote that like life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. Right. And so like I think oftentimes we like to sit back and be like, oh, this is so hard. Oh, the misery here. Oh, this part of is difficult in our life. And we like put stress on that. But I think ultimately, if we can just realize that everything that's happening is happening for our benefit, for our relationship in this case, or whatever that may be, I think that's where you can just find a lot more joy. Just don't take life too seriously. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add on to that concept, but
I think just with that, you can choose your emotion. So I was talking to Ashton about this earlier, and there's things with the kids all the time. But I think that there's always a distinct moment where you can choose to laugh at the situation or you can choose to be angry at the situation. And it's got to be one or the other. And it's a physical choice, though. And
So-
if you can get to that moment, you can choose. Sorry. Go
no, all I was going to say is like, how do you go about that? Because I think that's like a really difficult question. Like often I think people are like, that's hard. So like, how do you go through the process for yourself?
I am still practicing this, especially right now. I feel like it's so hard sometimes with the kids specifically, where it's just, wow, it's so hard not to get stuck in that mindset, which I am. I'm kind of stuck right now in like the reaction, which is usually anger.
Right.
But I think it's just seeing those moments and stepping back and taking the emotion out of it for a minute and just looking at the situation.
Yeah.
Just like, is this something that I could laugh at that could be a funny moment?
Right.
Or is this something that maybe we need to calm down and we need to have it be a more serious moment? And so I think when you just take a step back, take the emotion out of it and just look at the situation for its face value, I think if you can do that, I think that's where you can choose and make that conscious choice.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think a big part of that too is also like, now this is, I think, a little bit more in depth, and I think we'll talk about this more, but I think the biggest piece to this that I have found that makes it easier is like being able to choose that emotion is having someone who's watching it for you, right?
Mhm.
Now, like this is really hard if proper expectations aren't set. 'Cause I think this is like where I've seen a lot of people get frustrated is because they're like, well, it's not your job. Like, why are you watching how I'm feeling? But like, if you have that expectation set, like, hey, I'm working on this and I know it's something I'd like to get better at. Can you help me? And like you talk about how to do that, like how to have that conversation when it pops up, then like that's the thing I found the most effective, right? Because it's really hard when you're in the moment to like recognize your emotions. And this is something you do so well, is like you're incredibly humble when it comes to like listening, right? And you don't take offense.
I am so humble.
You're funny. But yeah, you don't take yourself too seriously. And I think that that's like a huge piece of it is like being willing to like be vulnerable and like being willing to, I don't know, be made into a better person ultimately. And I think that's something you're so inspiring to me about is that. But I think that like that is so key to having someone else who's there like trying and willing and wanting to help you, and you're willing to like listen to the moments when they pop up. So I think that's like super important. But I think ultimately that's, you know, the way I've seen the most benefit from it. And then I think like the last thing is just overall, just looking towards the future. So I don't know. What do you think about that? Like, I think looking towards the future, what do you feel like is, how does that help you have more laughs in our life?
Oh, yeah. I think for me, I think we always hear this phrase, oh, once you're empty nesters, then you're married to a stranger. What do you do at this point? And I think for me as well, I don't want to be married to a stranger. And so I think just having those daily moments of, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to have fun. I love the person that I'm with. And like we talked about hobbies earlier. I think having those hobbies are super important because you're laying this foundation. Then once you're empty nesters,
That's it.
I mean, it's time to start, baby. We're going on vacation. We're
Right.
getting rid of the kids. You know, like we have a whole bucket list that we're gonna fly
Right.
through.
Yeah.
You know, so I look forward to the future, and I look forward to having more fun
Yeah.
with you.
And I think that's the balance, right? Obviously be here for the present because we're here, live life now. And then also like be anxiously engaged and thinking towards the future as well, right? And I think there's a fine balance because one can hurt the other one, but I don't know. Yeah, I think that's ultimately how we try to strive to just see more laughs in our life. So what we have for you guys today, and hopefully you'll be able to laugh a little bit more this week at yourself and at your spouse. So thanks guys, appreciate it.
Bye.